Previous class, we were discussed about advent of Europeans to India. In that, discovery of new routes to India. So Portuguese were the first among the Europeans discovered new routes to India. Among the Portuguese, the first Portuguese traveler, navigator, sailor, he was Vasco da Gama. Vasco da Gama after Francisco de Almeida. After the Francisco de Almeida, next and strong viceroy of Portuguese rule in India, he was Alfonso de Albuquerque. He led the firm foundation of Portuguese rule in India. So there, Portuguese came to India. I made chart here. First Portuguese came to India. Portuguese after the English after the Dutch after the French East India Company. So these 4 European countries. So countries in the European continent came to India. First Portuguese, English, Dutch, French. I have written in chronological order, sequence of order. The first Portuguese 1498 AD, after the English 1600 AD, and the Dutch 1602 AD, and the French 1664 AD. The first, the Portuguese. So Portuguese came to India and established their rule in India in the year 1498. They took permission from King January, continued their trade in India later. So during 1510, Alfonso de Albuquerque, with the help of Vijayanagara ruler Sri Krishna Devaraya, they captured Goa from Sultan of Bijapur. So Goa became a center of their administration, Portuguese administration. So it's remained as the capital of Portuguese was Goa. Later, so these became a trading centers of Portuguese in India. First, Goa was the capital. Diu, Daman, Salsette, Desain and Bombay were the trading centers of India. The Max 2 marks question, what were the trading centers of Portuguese in India? So these were the trading centers of Portuguese in India. Goa, Diu Daman, Salsette, Desain and Bombay. After that, Alfonso de Albuquerque, later rulers, they were weak and inefficient. And another side, Portuguese failed to establish their rule in India. Why? Because Portuguese, they were not able to compete with the English and French. So due to that, Portuguese rule came to an end in India. So remember that. So which was the first European rule came to an end in India and at the last. So now, first was Portuguese only now. So now, Portuguese rule came to an end. They were unable to compete with the English, Dutch and French. So their rule came to an end. But they were the last to leave India. So they left India in the year 1961. India achieved independence in 1947. Okay, now English became powerful. English, they were able, they had a powerful navy force. With the help of their powerful navy force, army force, they defeated Dutch, French and Portuguese. Finally, the entire India came under the control of Englishes. So English, they left India in 1947, gave freedom to our nation. India achieved independence in 1947. So almost all they left India, but Portuguese did not leave Goa. Up to 1961, Portuguese rule was in Goa. Even India achieved independence in 1947. 1947 to 1961, Goa was under the control of Portuguese. So, Goa Congress, they made a huge rally against that Portuguese rule in India. Along with that, Indian Army, Goan Congress leader, and the D.B. Kunna, and number of leaders, peoples of Goa, all they revolted against that Portuguese. So due to effort, there was a huge battle between Portuguese and Indians. So due to that, India achieved, means Goa became a Union territory in the year 1961. Later, it is declared as a state of India. Now, Goa is one of that state of India. First, it was the Union territories. Later, it is now one of the smallest state in the country. Which is the smallest smallest state in the country? The smallest state in the country, Goa. Okay, no? Largest state, Rajasthan. Smallest state, Goa. So that is the Portuguese rule. So how did the Portuguese rule came to an end in India? Because I already told you. After that, Alfonso de Albuquerque, rulers were weak and inefficient, and rulers were involved in the corruptions, and the Portugal government did not support the Portuguese in India. So due to that, and due to rise of Marathas, who were there? Rise of Marathas in India. Marathas drew the Portuguese army from Salsette and Besain. Threw them. Portuguese army driven from that Salsette and Besain from that Marathas. So Marathas threw the Portuguese army from these two reasons. Rise of Marathas, one of the reasons for that. Decline of Portuguese rule in India. That is one. Another side, the decline of Vijayanagar Empire. So with help of Vijayanagar Empire, they captured Goa. Goa remained as their capital. But after the Battle of Rakkasatangadi, the Battle of Banihatti, or the Battle of Talikota in the year 1565, 5 Shahi Sultans and Vijayanagar ruler, they fought each other in the Battle of Talikota in the year 1565. Due to a decline, the fall of Vijayanagar Empire was one of the reasons Portuguese lost their possession in India. It means Vijayanagar rulers were supporters. They supported Portuguese. Vijayanagar Empire collapsed. So no ruler supported Portuguese in India. That was one of the reasons. And also that the many reasons. And Portuguese, they could not compete with English, Dutch and French. They were unable to compete with these. So Portuguese, they left India and concentrated their trade in Brazil. That is end of Portuguese rule in India. After that, Alfonso de Albuquerque. We come to that, the English East India Company. So before we discuss about English East India Company, let me inform about that. The Dutch and French. Last I will tell you about. I'll give clear picture, clear information about the English East India Company. So before that, we discuss about that. Dutch East India Company. The Dutch East India Company came to India. So the Dutch or Netherlands, the company came to India, established their trade in India during 1602. So after the English, Dutch were the third Europeans came to India, established their trade in India in the year 1602. And Pulicat became a capital of Dutch East India Companies, and Dutch East India Company. So they also made some of that trading center, established some of the trading centers. So the trading centers of the Dutch East India Company were Machilipattanam, Nagapattanam, Balipattanam, Chinsu, Kasim Bazar, where that trading center of Dutch East India Company. Even Dutch were also unable to compete with that French and English. Dutch, rulers were inefficient. They are not able to compete with the English and French. Due to that, Dutch East India Company lost their possession in India and concentrated the trade in Southeast Asia. Southeast Asia like Java, Sumatra, Malaysia and archipelagos in the southeastern part of India. That side, they left India and they concentrated their trade in southeastern part of India. So that's one. After the Dutch, the French East India Company. The French East India Company, they came to India during 1664 AD. In which year the French East India Company came to India? The French East India Company came to India during 1664 1664 AD. Pondicherry was their capital, which was the capital of French East India Company. Pondicherry was the capital of French East India Company. Mainly, the two members are played very important role in India from the French rule. He was Dupleix. In French, the two members you remember that is first one Dupleix, not it is Dupleix was that important ruler of French in India. Dupleix after the second person, he was Count de Lally. Yes, Dupleix and Count de Lally played important role to establish their trading centers in India. And finally, after that, Count de Lally's, the French East India Company was also unable to compete with that Englishers. So, Dutch East India Company and Portuguese East India Company, they lost their possession, and finally, English and French rivalries began in India. So, English and French fought to establish there. There was a lot of competition between English and French to establish their trading centers in India. That's what English-French rivalry, conflict began in India. Along with that, Indian native rulers, that was called as a Anglo or Carnatic Wars. So, the Carnatic Wars began between English, French, along with that native rulers. So, let me explain about that, the French rule in that Carnatic Wars. So, before that, so during the Dupleix period, Pondicherry became the capital of French East India Company, and they also established their trading centers. One was Machilipattanam was the trading center, Nagapattanam, Mahe, Karaikal, Surat and Chandranagar were the important trading centers of French East India Companies. And finally, Portuguese lost their position in India, the Dutch lost their position in India, English and French rivalry began in India through that Carnatic Wars. Okay? The English. Mainly, the English East India Company got permission from that Mughal Emperor Jahangir. Who gave permission to English East India Company? Yes, the Mughal Emperor Jahangir gave permission to English East India Company to establish trade in India. So, I'll give clear information about English later. And Calcutta became their capital. And Calcutta capital, Surat, Agra, Bhuj, Bombay, Madras, etc. were the trading centers of English East India Companies. And Surat was the first warehouse or factory established by English. Where did English establish the first factory in India? So, English established the first factory in India at Surat, later Agra and Bhuj. So, these became a trading centers of English East India Companies.